Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
One of the oldest colonies of the sector, colonial deep space cruisers circle and overrun reached the system designated L453 in 2412. The star system was at that time unique.
Most famous for its vast rainforests and the Lavian tree growth. Much of the rainforest has now been cut down, and the famous shrub is now extinct.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Get ready. Lave Radio.
You've flown ships at max speed. You've felt the power of the 30-megawatt mining laser. You've experienced the efficiency of the MB4 mining machine.
Wow.
But it leaves every hardcore miner with just one question.
Why can't I get a shave that's that fast, close and efficient?
Introducing the Saracen MB5 shaving drone.
It's so smooth.
Combining the power of a mining laser with the convenience of a drone.
It's like every hair is targeted by a fighter and destroyed.
Saracen's patented shaving drone attaches to your face at the start of the day. Leave it to do its work, and when you come back to check, your face is shaved.
He's so smooth.
It's like I'm mining my face.
The Saracen MB5 shaving drone.
Now I feel manly.
Saracen Shaving, making shaving an unnecessary adventure.
We buy any ship.
Bar none.
We buy any ship.
Bar none. Any model, any colour, any shape, any size.
We buy any ship.
Bar none. We here at We Buy Any Ship Bar None are ready to take your excess space travel vehicles off your hands. No more negotiating with dodgy space station vendors. We'll simply give you an estimated quote online. Then, when you get here, we'll point out all the little dents and scratches that make the price get smaller and smaller before we actually give you any money. And the beauty is, we take any ship.
We buy any ship.
Bar none. Terms and conditions apply. We Buy Any Ship excludes trading in any of the following vehicles: Adder, Anaconda, Asp, Boa, Cobra, Constrictor, Cruisers, Eagle, Falcon, Gecko, Griffin, Gear, Harris, Harrier, Hawk, Kestrel, Crate, Lanners, Lifters, Lions, Mantis, Merlin, Moray, Osprey, Panther, Puma, Python, Saker, Sidewinder, Skeet, Spar, Stowmaster, Tearsel, Tiger, Transporter, Turner, Viper, Wyvern, or any Imperial or Thargoid vessels.
Galnet News Digest, 12th of October 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, 30% off fleet carriers as Colonia Bridge goal smashed.
The cat that got the card.
Torval drops the Mastopoulos. %30 off fleet carriers as Colonia Bridge goal smashed. The first part of the initiative to build a bridge of megaships every 500 light-years from the bubble to Colonia was completed with 48 hours to spare after an extremely enthusiastic response from commanders. Brewer Corporation is sponsoring the initiative, partly to make tritium more readily available to its fleet carrier owners on this popular run. The fleet carriers will be stationed at intervals along the route, providing a safe haven and facilities for commanders and their ships, as well as fleet carrier refuelling services. As a result of the maximum achievement for this phase of the exercise, Alcor will build 25 megaships, and Colonia will build 5. Not the other way round, as certain disreputable news organisations reported last week. Starting on Friday the 15th of October, for 1 week only, fleet carriers in Alcor and Colonia will be sold at 30% discount. presumably with the price of only 3.5 billion credits, as will fleet carrier services, making fleet carrier ownership more affordable than ever. In addition, the top 10 commanders of the 257 who took part in the Colonia initiative and the top 10 commanders of the 4,200 who took part in the Alcor initiative will be offered the chance to name the megaships that will be put in place as a result of this initiative, starting with Megaship McMegaship Face. Sally and Arthur really had no idea what to do with themselves. Your fleet carrier is at risk if you do not keep up maintenance payments. A fleet carrier is for life, not just for Christmas. Silly ship names such as Megaship McMegaship Face may be changed to David Attenborough by the Public Relations Department of Brewer Corporation. Terms and conditions apply. Don't get your hopes up, mate.
The cat that got the card. The galaxy's most entertaining thief appears to have got the better of secretive gambling club The Joker's Deck, according to Wallglass detective Francesca Wolf's latest report. A Joker playing card that signifies the current host of the Joker's Deck gambling club was revealed at a secret ceremony, in a secret room, in the secret gambling club's secret meeting on an unknown planet, by current host Lexi October, according to Wolf. And when she with great ceremony displayed the card to the assembled, secret but also famous and fabulously wealthy, club members, it was not a Joker after all, but a winking cat. The winking cat is the trademark and tag of the notorious Winking Cat crew, the individual or group of individuals that stole U-Scape from a titanium vault in the Garden City Gallery on Turner's World in June 3304, who stole Candramir's New Dawn collection of figures from the Imperial Museum of Culture in Iotienses in September that year, and who stole a Rembrandt, a Picasso and an Okeke from the Museum of Civilization on Mars in February 3305. In each case, the artwork was replaced with the stylized winking cat. Most famously, the winking cat struck at the New Year celebration on Mars in 3305, replacing a giant hologram of the federal insignia with the giant winking cat, which was visible across the federal capital city, and which caused the Federal Security Service immense embarrassment when they were unable to explain the security lapse. In August 3305, the winking cat donated art rather than stealing it, by breaking in and adding the long-lost Madigan masterpiece Pennant Street to a display in the Garden City Gallery during the Alliance Festival of Culture. The work had been lost in transit 60 years earlier and is considered more valuable than the work the winking cat stole from the same gallery the previous year. So, the winking cat seems to be more interested in notoriety, in ridiculing the establishment, and in cleverly evading complex security systems than in stealing artworks for gain. And in this latest stunt, some of the wealthiest and most powerful people in the galaxy have been made fools of by one highly amusing cat.
Torval drops the Mastopoulos. Senator Zemina Torval's mining venture has dropped the name Mastopoulos from its title and is now simply Torval Mining Limited. The fully independent company retains Torval's daughter Constantia as its operations director, and the senator becomes the new CEO. The split is alleged to have been made amicably and with honour, and Constantia Torval has assured customers that their interests will be guaranteed following the split. In an unusual move, shares in both companies can be interchanged freely for stock in the other company, allowing supporters of the Mastopoulos and Torval dynasties to easily transfer resources. Torval Limited is reported to have acquired many of the operational assets of Mastopoulos Mining, which until recently was largely controlled by Senator Zemina. The senator lost her position on the Mastopoulos board when she was pushed out by matriarch Gabriella Mastopoulos. However, it is clear that Torval made the first move when she chose to create a subsidiary of the corporation, which has now become simultaneously a competitor and a stock share partner. It seems unlikely that Mastopoulos Mining will take kindly to the loss of its assets, and the smart money is on some sort of conflict between the two companies, possibly as soon as this week.
And that's this week's Galnet News.
Galnet News. We read the news, so you don't have to.
night was our last best hope for news. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long, located in neutral territory. A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads, community members and developers. A shining beacon in space, all alone on a Tuesday night. It was the dawn of the 3rd chapter of Elite. The year's space legs came upon us all. This is the story of the last of the Lavian stations. The year is 3307. The name of the place? Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 362 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Defire, Chief Archivist at Lave Station, otherwise known as Colin Ford, and joining me in the orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our Chief of Head of Health and Safety, Ben Mosswoodwood, otherwise known as Commander Edelweiss.
I'm taking the taxi.
We have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psykit.
Now, have you checked to make sure you haven't had to pick anybody else up, Ben, just to clarify?
It is just me and him.
Okay, good to know.
Good grief, I hate to think of his Uber rating. And we also have our Inhuman Resources Director, Commander Shan.
Hello. Colin, that was a Clarkson moment back then.
A Clarkson moment?
Yes, you said, and its fantastic community that surrounds it.
Oh, right. I did a Clarkson pause, did I? Oh, I do apologise.
You're becoming a broadcast professional. Next you'll be opening a farm up and growing large mammals with fur or something.
I'm not quite sure you grow large mammals with fur.
Yeah, just like a make of cat.
I am concerned about Shan's understanding of just general biology at this point.
General agriculture. Anyway, right. So if you wish, you can join us live. We're hanging out in game. Ben is taking the taxi back to Lave, I do believe.
I'm going to try and take a taxi 200 light years.
Oh, nice.
100 under 100 light year jumps.
Ooh, that'll be interesting.
Mm.
So if you can catch hold of him at Lave Station, then you're welcome to try and find him. Otherwise, if you can't get to him in game, you can join us on the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or goes to twitch.tv/laveradio, or Lave Radio, which is live on YouTube and Facebook. So, yes, let's quickly go around the crew this week, see what they've been up to. We'll start with Commander Psykit, because it's been a little while.
What's it been, like a fortnight, something like that? I've just been like, here, doing bits and bobs. Just been a bit busy, that's all.
Oh, fair enough. Quite pleasant.
Yeah, it's been really nice not being here, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
I'm joking.
Let me just find that kick button.
Right, moving on from that ball buster. Ben, what have you been up to this week? Ben?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm making coffee. I can talk now if you want, or you can come back to me.
You know what? We'll come back to you. Shan, what have you been up to?
I was just thinking that both Ben and Psykit need demoting because Psykit says she was glad to be away for 2 weeks, and Ben is so addicted to caffeine and coffee he can't pause his life to come on the show. So I propose we demote them.
Well, I do not want to demote
Well,
them.
hang on.
You too, Shan.
I'm in human resources director, so therefore it's not your call; it's mine. So we need to think of new job titles for demotion of Ben.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Nope, not doing
Anyway,
that, Shan.
anyway, in game, I've been quite enjoying my bacterial colony finding exploits this week. It's been quite. I've kind of got used now to looking for the cowpats on the surface.
Yeah, it's very much like that, isn't it?
So yeah, I've fully mapped, well, biological wise, 3 planets now. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. Really, it's quite interesting.
It's nice in a kind of old man fishing type way, really, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. And test subject Gamma, sorry, I mean Hobbs, he's undergoing more tests. Um, this week, I have been testing Evil Cat and Evil exploits. 'Cause what I do is I've got one of those little toys on the end of a fishing line, like a fishing rod, and you zoom it along the air or the ground, and it gets the run up, and then you hawk it out at the last person moment, and the cat jumps. So I've been trying to work out how far the cat can jump. So far, it can jump 3 cushions end to end. But then once I'm confident and I've got the distance, I'm going to substitute the cushions for bowls of water.
Really, I thought it would have been spikes.
No. Water's fine because it's a bit of a water cat, so it won't mind. But it will just introduce an element of uncertainty because part of this test is to ascertain whether it can change direction mid-air when it realizes it's going to plunge into a bowl of cold water. You see, so it's all scientific.
Lovely. Well, we're going to go back to Ben. Hopefully, he's finished
Shan's
grinding his
version
beans.
of science is kind of in the 1930s German methodology, isn't it?
If you're on about you, hey, you're about eugenics here.
Maybe late 1930s sort of scientific method, I think. But yeah,
Are you equating me to Dr. Mengele?
I'm sure there are other notable scientists at that time as well. But yeah.
Anyway,
well, there is von Braun who invented
Godwin's law's going early today, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I have not been experimenting on small animals. Although it was my daughter's birthday, and I went to see
She is a small animal.
She is actually, yes, but she's cute, so that's okay. And I went to see Venom, and I enjoyed Venom. That was good fun, actually. Has anyone else seen it?
Not yet.
Okay, it's good. No spoilers. Stay for the ending, like as ever. Stay for the post credits.
Wasn't Venom the first one? Isn't?
This is Venom. Let there be carnage.
Yeah, this is Venom. Let there be carnage. Woody Harrelson is excellent in it, as I would expect him. Yeah, as I was expecting him to be.
The chat room are telling you off that Shan has not got his ideas from the 1930s. He's got his ideas from Spectre.
No, because if he got his ideas from Spectre, he'd just be sitting there stroking his cat, and he's not doing that.
Yeah, but he is going to try. He is going to try and hold the world to ransom for $1 million. Sorry, $1 billion.
That's not 007. That's Austin Powers. Anyway,
Ben finally catches up.
Yes, no, I knew where you were, but that's not Spectre.
Moving on, Ben.
So yeah, moving on. Apart from that, this week I've been basically trying VR things out. So I had a lot of fun with yourself and Shan playing Bridge Crew last night, and that was great fun.
You played it properly, Ben. Come on, admit it. I said trust me with the guns, And you like, well, oh no, we don't trust
I
gun with us.
trusted you with the guns.
It's
In
funny
fact, I
that
actually think I suggested you on the guns.
it's funny that every time we tried to set up, Shan was first to the tactical station, wasn't he? No one could get to the tactical station fast enough.
Well, it's because that's the position I'm best at in that game. So, do you want me on navigation where I can pilot the ship into anomalies, or do you want me on the guns?
Well, I think everybody needs to take a turn. I was captain and the engineer last night, so
That's not how it
yes.
works. You don't take it in turns on the Enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree there. You don't go off and see, Chekhov and Riker swapping positions or something like that, do you?
Listen, it's just so that everyone can have a different playing experience. It doesn't matter at the moment, does it?
I mean, it was more like lower decks than the Enterprise.
Well, that's okay, because Lower Decks is the best Star Trek going anyway.
These are the voyages of the USS Lave Radio. Its 8-year mission to really just be rubbish at flying a starship.
Yeah. But we're getting pretty good at derailing trains.
We're getting very good at derailing off any subject that we need to.
Yeah. And then today I've been doing something that was also lots of fun, which has been trying Minecraft in Java in VR.
So hang on, this is Java. This is Minecraft running on Java.
Minecraft Java edition
Mm-hmm.
in VR, and it's room scale. It's got shaders and everything, if you can. Shaders take my frames rates down to puking levels, but it looks very pretty. And you actually mine things by swinging your arms, and stab things by hitting them with your sword. So
how do you
you're
jump?
actually. I've got auto jump, but there is a jump button. You do crouch though by crouching.
Because I think that would make me feel a bit nauseous.
Yeah, as I said, I've got auto jump turned on, so I'm sort of moving around with my left control stick, and if I need to jump, it just jumps for me.
So can you nerd pole in it?
Can I what?
Nerd pole.
What's nerd pole?
It's where you put a block and you jump on top of the block and then you place the block. So you just basically keep jumping and placing blocks on top of each other.
Yeah, I should be able to do that, though I haven't tried it. I've only tried it for a couple of hours, and most of that time was, what do we do and how do I do it, kind of thing. Because I'm just not used to using a gamepad. I'm usually using a keyboard and mouse as well, so I didn't know what half the button did for so long. But my God, it puts a sense of scale into everything, as you'd expect, I guess. But everything's like 1 meter high blocks, and it's just eek kind of thing.
So creepers like super scary.
Oh, everything's super scary. Spiders. I mean, I've always hated the spiders in the game. But when the spiders jump out of a tree and jump at you, that's horrific.
I always thought the Endermen were quite weird.
Yeah, not seen any of them, but yeah, I could imagine that. What I want to go off and do is probably do some command block stuff and make a teleport jump kind of thing to really see if I can get myself jumping down onto some slime and then just try to make myself puke up.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, moving on from there. Let's see. Obviously, we had a full crew at Star Trek Bridge Crew, so that was me, my friend Ralph, and these two nerdoels, and we actually gelled quite well as a bridge crew. I thought it came across quite.
Right.
Yeah, not too bad for a bunch of beginners. And of course, we lost at the Kobayashi Maru because we can't reprogram the simulation.
And there's no apples either.
No apples either, yes. Of course, you need apples to win the Kobayashi Maru.
I thought it's a bit like herding cats last night. I mean, next time when I'm captain, you'll learn to relish the sheer order of the Shan regime in Bridge Crew.
He's going to fire us all, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to try to. Anyway, apart from that, in game itself, I did try a bit of VR in Odyssey, and it just goes to prove that my machine is not up to it. So yes, I need to. I need to. Yes, everyone. The restream bot, Northropolis has gone Shan in the Captain Kirk style.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Yes, I did try Odyssey in VR. It's just too unusable for me. So, to tell you the truth, I think I prefer playing it flat screen because it stays flat screen all the way through. I don't like the jump to the flat screen hut when you actually start walking about. It really does.
Yeah, I mean,
It is so jarring.
I know if when I tried VR, I deliberately didn't get out and go on foot because it just no.
No, I need to, and this machine that I've got is a little bit out of date anyway, so it needs to be upgraded. So, yeah, it was adequate to play Horizons in VR. It's not adequate for Odyssey. But in the game, my trip to Colonia is still continuing. For the thanks to everybody that joined me on the Twitch chat for that one. Yeah, done a bit of power play. Oh, and of course went off to find the dredger, which of course we'll be touching on later. So that's it for the crew. So let's see what they've been up to this week. So what have the devs said? Well, first bit was a bit of bad news, wasn't it? Update 8 delayed until next week. They said they're too busy. They've had to delay it because they're polishing features and fixing bugs.
I'm not wanting to sound overly harsh, but is this a big surprise to anybody?
Not really.
Not really, but I'm glad they do it. I mean,
Yeah,
can you imagine the outrage if they released something too early that hadn't been
Oh
tested?
hell yes, yeah. Yeah, I would. I'm fine waiting another week. I'm sure some people aren't, and I'm sure the forums did. You know, they needed fire extinguishers and stuff like that. But
Actually, to tell you the truth, the forum response was very much like yourselves. It's sort of right, okay, we're glad you're taking the extra time. That seemed to be the vast majority of the responses that I saw.
Okay.
It's half term next week as well, isn't it?
It is, yes, which is. Oh, before we move, so as you guys know, but so the stream doesn't go saying "Where's Ben?" I'm taking the next 2 weeks off because of family and half-termy things.
Yes, half-termy things. Hopefully, I'll be back in Scotland, back down in Scotland, back down from Scotland in time to do the show next week. Fingers crossed.
Possibly no show next week then.
All depends if there's an accident on the way down, and whether or not I'm involved in it.
Yeah.
Are you not allowed to do the show from Scotland then, Colin?
No,
Well,
I
all depends on whether or
I
not
was
I can
about
get
to
down.
slag Scotland off there. That's terrible.
Well, I did a show from Scotland, so and Nicola Sturgeon hasn't banned me from.
I would be able to do a show from Scotland, but we're travelling back on the Tuesday, so I'm hoping they get back in here in time.
You could do a mobile broadcast. That would be exciting.
Exactly. Stop somewhere, like Gretna Green or something.
What, and join the Tesla Owners Club? Because the Tesla, it's funny that in Gretna Green service station, there's about 4 or 5 Tesla charging stations, as you well know. And it seems it attracts Teslas, and the Tesla owners are all just standing around talking about their Teslas. It's equivalent of getting a Dyson out in the middle of a dinner, middle class dinner party.
It's the optimum charging point before heading north into Scotland, so it's a bit of a congregation point. But if you are looking to charge your EV, the blacksmith shop at Gretna Green has a 50 kilowatt charger that's quite cheap, and there's no queues for it. So go there.
There you go. Tesla tips from Shan. Maybe that's what we need to put in at the end of this. Any other business we have Shan's Tesla tips.
I don't think so.
Right. So generally, yeah, it's been. I think everybody here in the crew agrees it's a good idea to get any issues fixed and take a little bit of extra time to do it.
One thing. Sorry,
yeah.
Colin.
Go on.
I was going to do another public announcement about Update 8 next week. don't expect to play on the day of the patch. So
Yeah,
don't
that's
book the day off expecting to play because you're likely to be delayed.
Yeah. It does seem like they are this time. It's definitely a month per update. I was a bit surprised after last time that they delayed it. It was going to come out this week because I thought that was a very, very short development time between the last update.
I don't know. It's been over a month, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a month now that when I land on a planet, I look up and I see my Imperial Clipper just hanging about 100 meters above me, thinking, "Why aren't you on the ground?" Because they haven't fixed that one at all. So hopefully that'll be in the next one. So update 8, obviously delayed a week. Last Thursday there was CQC Night in Horizons with Bruce and Zach. They managed to get 3 games in, but they did have server trouble. It's a CQC night. CQC nights are always fun. But, what more do you say? It's CQC. And then we had today's Super Cruise news. Ben taking in the glory of the adder on screen. Yes, that's... I don't know whether or not to feel sympathy for him or just really think that he deserves it.
What, Ben the plant killer?
At least I'm not flying it.
I don't know. Which is worse? We're back to the fool or the fool that follows him.
Ben, you are the Harold Shipman of looking after plants, aren't you?
Oh, that's not an analogy that we're making right now. Let's keep
Yeah, I will admit that 2 out of my 3 potted plants are well, one is dead, the other's on its way out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
These are the special frontier potted plants
frontier ones,
they
yes.
gave you as a gift of love, and
They
you
did.
abused them.
Oh, one of them was nearly
killed them.
dead on arrival.
So you
I am
say.
actually. So I know. I'm half thinking about. I want to look for. My mum had. It was like I don't know what it was. It was like a. It wasn't. I don't know if it's a cactus or not, but it was like a stone plant.
Just face it, Ben. You are the arboreal Dexter.
No, isn't that a pet rock? In the 80s, you could buy pet rocks.
It's a plant, but it looks like a pebble.
No, that's a pet rock.
I did actually have a pet rock as well, but that's another story.
Right, back to Super Cruise news, not Pebble Weekly. We had Zach run this for the entire session, and he brought in principal programmer Dominic Corner, who we haven't seen for quite a while.
We do love us some Dom, don't we?
We do like Dom because he always gives us lots of juicy information, and this one he was showing off how actually missions are put together. So he works with Dan, and they have Dan the designer, and they have conversations with the narrative team to make sure that everything works all together. And you saw basically what looked like a very nice flowchart showing what happens at each state of a mission and how that state would affect the end product. So if you cancel it halfway through, that can sometimes mean that you get a worse punishment than if you'd cancelled it right at the beginning, or something daft like that. It was quite interesting to see. Ben, hang on, psykit. Were you able to catch that one?
Most of it. I caught most of it. I caught the bit with the flowchart and little bits of the conversation that they were having. It was incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what got me was how complex just doing one simple mission seemed to be. There seemed to be about 15 little different states
Yeah.
for the mission, and they even had little wrinkles where you have sometimes they'll have a random encounter where there are scavengers already there. I thought it
Yeah.
was fascinating,
There's
but
like loads of different tiny little mitigating factors and RNG moments that we kind of take for granted a little bit.
we do. It's it just gave me an idea of the actual complexity that's needed for behind the scenes, and we don't see basically what's behind the curtain.
We thank our Dom for our daily thumb.
However, one thing that they Zach and Dom touched on was the fact that these are with update 8. There's a crumb of combined foot and mission elements coming in update 8, which means sort of it just seems that things are going to expand. Thankfully, the first point was AI fleeing. So that it seems that a target, if they get spooked, this is an assassination target. If they get spooked, will run off to a ship and take off. If they manage to get to that ship, the mission fails. I think, well, it would be nice if you could run to your ship and chase that ship, but it's a nice bit of variety. Shan?
Yeah, think about that. Without the ability to do a crowd control effect, i.e., cripple them or stun them or something, it kind of makes it a bit of a once they're ahead, they're almost going to stay ahead. You can't like hobble them to slow them down at the moment.
Well, actually, you can, because if you shoot them and they got their shields off, as soon as their shields are off, they stumble.
But you have to shoot through the shields first, don't you?
Well, you telling me you can't run a gun?
It depends how far. I guess it depends on how far away they are when they get spooked, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does it does depend, but I like the fact that they're not just going to be hanging around. They've got a runaway button, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like basically you don't want to go in there all guns blazing, set the place on high alert, and this scientist you're meant to assassinate is going to carry on doing his job.
Yeah, it gives more weight to the sneaky, stealthy missions.
Yeah, get in there, hit them with the power up, and then get out.
Yeah.
Well, on the subject of doing stuff naughty, if you commit crimes on foot, such as murdering people or massacre missions, bounty hunters may be sent after you, but only if you're on your own ship. Chan?
So, does your on-foot bounty translate into a ship-wide bounty, which the authorities will then get you, or is it just a single bounty hunter ship that comes after you?
I have a sneaking suspicion it will be either a single bounty hunter ship or a number of bounty hunter ships. Once you get to the station, you'll probably be fine. But we don't know the full details yet. That's all we've got. I mean, to tell you the truth, this is the kind of thing that I've been after, because it makes me feel like makes things feel a little bit more joined up.
So do we know if the bounty hunters are actually walking around the settlement so you can shoot first?
No.
Or do
They're
they
coming
just
after
suddenly
you.
spawn? They suddenly spawn.
They come after you when you're in your ship. So you're flying back to the station to hand your mission in, and then these bounty hunters will come after you.
Yeah, because I mean, ideally, you'd want to go around and shoot the bounty hunters shoot first, and then you'd be home free, because that would be a way of avoiding that, wouldn't it? You can just like bump off the bounty
no, because there won't be any bounty hunters on site. If the way that I look at this in my head canon is that you have just gone and committed an awful act at a settlement and flown away. That act has been reported, and so that the act that are being reported said we are willing to pay 20,000 credits if you can off that awful Commander Shan who's just wiped out half our settlement. Here you go. And then these are our bounty hunters that have picked that bounty up or trying to get the bounty on you.
So I've never done anything wrong at settlement to
Mhm.
incur a bounty, so you'll have to forgive me. I've been completely innocent of anything. If you do a bad crime that would mean you would incur a bounty and then get in your ship,
Mhm.
does the settlement's anti-ship weaponry open fire on you, or do
Yes.
they let you go?
No, they open fire on you as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. What I've normally had to do in this case is I've either had my SRV outside a settlement, so I've run to my SRV and then driven off to get my ship, or my ship has been out of firing range behind a mountain range, and I've walked over the mountains and attacked the settlement, and then walked back over the mountains to get away.
Okay, interesting. As I say, I'd never do anything wrong in game, so I don't know about these things.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know about psykit and Ben here, but I wouldn't actually do anything to get a bounty in the flight part of the game, but put me on foot, and all of a sudden I've become an absolute merciless psychopath.
Yeah, I'm a complete klepto after playing God knows how many RPGs, where it's just expected that you loot everything.
Do you think that's because the penalty for losing your ship is higher than on foot?
Nah, I just really like shooting people.
In game, I hope, sorry, not IRL.
We need a clip of that there.
Yeah. According to this, Shan, Mr. B. Fett would like to have a word with you.
I'm looking forward to that.
I would have thought Mr. GRE Doe. I would have thought, but anyway.
On the final part was that they have now started to add NPC involvement to the collection and delivery missions. So it's a case of you deliver it to this particular person instead of dropping it in a container, or you deliver it, or you pick it up from a particular person. So you've got to go looking for someone who'll be walking around the base in order to get a package or deliver a package to them. And they said that this is the start of more meaningful interaction going forward, which I think's always useful.
So are you thinking pickpocketing?
Pickpocketing? No, you don't have to. You ask them. Although, oh yeah, I see what you mean. You've got to try and pickpocket a another person.
Yeah.
Psykit.
Didn't they say something about that the progression of that would be sort of like your princesses in another castle?
Oh God, I hope not.
And sending you to a different space to go and pick up something, or while you're here, mate, if now you've picked up that package, if you wouldn't mind just offing that poor sod over there, that'd be great.
To tell you the truth, I don't mind that kind of thing.
I'm all good with that. It sounds great.
Yeah, you know. So, if you want your full credit, I've got a secondary for you. I'll give you 50 grand to to off that guy over there. He keeps on putting melted chocolate in my bed. Go on.
Well, that is a murderable offence. Let's go.
Colin, where did that come from?
I have no idea. And I think it's a bad experience in a hotel where they put the chocolate on the pillow.
But was that a euphemism for something?
No, they have this, the turn down service. This in the very posh hotels, they have turn down service where they make your bed up in a way that's almost impossible to get into, and they put a little bit of chocolate either on the turn down or on the pillow. And
I'd have thought turn down service would just be me saying no.
I know what it is, Colin. You went to a hotel and they put a chocolate on your pillow and you didn't notice. And when you woke up in the morning, the back of your head was covered in melted slimy chocolate.
Oh,
well, all I can say is I hope it was chocolate.
Oh, why?
Oh.
Well, I guess it's better than waking up and being covered in melted chocolate.
Can we move on from this again?
Yes, I think we shall. In addition, we have 4 new engineers coming to Colonia, which obviously 3 of them are on foot stuff, but Yi Shen is a hybrid engineer with unique unlocks the bubble engineers have. I mean, that seemed to be all right. And then they showed a video demo of some of the emotes, including the tagging. Now, I thought this was great because as much as I do like the social side of emotes, because I think they've been missing, I did like the way that they were using it to point for things at going around settlements. I mean,
did you control the NPCs by saying, go that way?
No, it's a case of you were able to point at certain things and it would highlight those things. So you'd point at a barrel, the barrel would highlight, and everybody in your team would see where that barrel was.
Yeah, but I'd like, it'd be nice if you could say, team, team, go and shoot that barrel or something like that.
Interesting question from stream. Someone asked what unique unlocks.
Night vision for one. There are certain things.
That's in Colonia?
No. There are certain things that are unique to particular engineers. And you can get them there are certain unique unlocks that you can have in the bubble with like just one engineer, which you then can also now get in Colonia, but with only one engineer. That's what it means.
I see Van Otter knows the Kate Beckinsale story. That's silenced everybody.
I don't know what the Kate Beckinsale.
And I can't see Van Otter either.
Yeah. Let's say if you look up Graham Norton and Kate Beckinsale prank, you will find probably the best prank in existence. And yes, and the fact that it's told by Kate Beckinsale is even better. So, just a small hint there. So, I mean, psykit, can you see uses for these emotes that you didn't envision before?
Literally the first day that we played and we got into a group and we were starting doing fighting and combat. Literally the first day that we did it, I said I really want to be able to tag some stuff for people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very nice that that's coming in. Emotes are cool too because I want to do like a Spider-Man moment. When 2 people point at each other. I think that'd be really funny.
Yeah, they said that on the stream. They
said,
I want to recreate the Spider-Man meme. I mean, they even did that in Into the Spider-Verse, didn't they? They did the Spider-Man.
Yeah, right at the end.
And finally, and one of the things that I thought was very exciting was the megaship interiors. Now, all station services are possible inside a mega station, inside of a mega ship rather, including frontline services and Apex. However, these services change when the mega ship moves, which I was trying to work out. Why would you shut down half of your mega ship facilities after you've jumped somewhere?
Maybe it's like Stargate Universe, was it? Where they got in a mega ship and it all broke. Was it Universe? Stargate Universe? Was that the series?
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
the upshot is as megaships jump about the place, when they arrive at certain systems, for some reason these systems will shut down certain services on the megaship. So you may have the Apex taxi available to you in one system, but then as soon as you've jumped, the Apex taxi is not available anymore. However, which could actually mean that you would be stranded if you had taken the Apex taxi there. Jean?
I was just thinking when that would likely be the case. And presumably, if the megaship jumped to a system in which there were no landable sites for the range of apex, it would shut down because you can't take the shuttle to a place it can't land.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this because when you walked around the megaship, you saw that there was the apex. But I might as well point out the megaship itself is a completely different layout to everything else we've had so far. It's still got the same features there, but they're in completely different layout, which I think was great. I think the main issue is they've got to be at a system where the shipyard is not available, and also the apex is not available, and then you can use escape pods.
Okay.
Yes. Escape pods will return you to your last safe location. So if you have no ship and there's no apex to return you to a starport or one of the shipboard's shipyards where you can transfer your ship to, then it saves you from being stranded. Because they say there are occasions where you could be stuck on a megaship as it goes round and round the galaxy, but there's only one place you can get on and get off.
That's no fun.
Yeah, but I mean, you're assuming you docked your ship there. I trust your ship won't vanish.
No, your ship doesn't vanish. This is only if you have turned up on the megaship on an apex taxi, and you get to, and the ship jumps, and the apex taxi facility is not available in the new system.
Yeah, because say for example, Ben, you hitch a lift with me on my ship as a crew member, and then you get off to walk around. I then decide the megaship isn't very interesting and leave. Your ship isn't at the megaship, so you only have the apex to get you off.
I literally just bumped into Karumba as I was walking to my ship. So,
Ooh.
Hi Karumba, I'll give you a shout out just now while I remember.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Shan's plan for dropping you off at a megaship has now been ruined. Then.
Yeah, obviously Frontier heard Shan's ideas and have decided to nix them, basically.
Why are you assuming I have all these nefarious schemes?
Because you told us about them.
Doesn't mean to say I'll do it. I'll do it.
The bad guy always monologues. You've got to remember this.
It just does. I don't know if anybody's ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, but there's this character called Sokka who decides to do a sneak attack by shouting "sneak attack" and then trying to hit someone.
Now, the reason why I speculate things like that is so Frontier fix it, so more evil people don't actually do it to people.
Yes, Harry.
So therefore, I am preventing mischief, not creating it.
Yeah, the reason why I shoot everybody is to fix the bugs.
Yeah. Okay, moving on from there. Overall, what did everybody... well, we'll start with you, Psychic, because you saw it. What did you think to this stream? I thought Zach handled it quite well, even though there was a lot of technical difficulties.
Zach did so well. Zach's really good at the old streaming malarkey. He's got a proper handle on it. So, yeah, I've got nothing but good things to say about Zach.
Says Psychic, wanting to get on the next stream.
Nah, I want to get him on Flight Assist, mate.
Yeah, Zach, if you're listening, remember, Chief Archivist here, and just saying. Right, anyway, moving on. The in-game events, what has been happening this week? Well, it was quite a busy Wednesday last week because, first of all, the federal... The feds claimed that they had a whole load of corporate terrorist networks had been exposed thanks to their privacy-breaking surveillance system. Also on the same day, the Orion University claimed ownership of the Dredger that everybody has been looking as part of the Azimuth storyline. Yeah, that came out of absolute nowhere. On Thursday, the Colonial Bridge project received all its deliveries. It was absolutely smashed. Now, as of the 28th of October, there will now be 30 dockable megaships placed along the Colonia route, and they'll serve as station reports. And yeah, it's it's going to make life to Colonia easier, and it's probably going to make my life easier as well. So as I drag my way there. On Thursday, a not a community goal, but an event happened. The Orion University put out a call that they were willing for people to search for the dredger, and they gave away some coordinates of where to start and told everyone, right, it's within a 500 light year bubble. Off you go. Guess how long it took for people to find the dredger?
10 minutes?
3 hours, 4 hours, something like that.
Yeah, it was 3 hours 50 minutes. So yeah, that was pretty much over and done with right then. Shan, you got something?
Yeah, we touched on this briefly last week about the dockable megaships going to Colonia. I think there's kind of enough traffic going between Colonia as it is. So I think I'd prefer them to be going to different location, maybe to the Formula Line Rift or somewhere like that, where you could actually serve as a bridging point to go further into the galaxy rather than along the M6. If you see where
Yeah,
I'm coming from.
it does begin to feel like the route to Colonia is becoming very much like the M6, with lots of service stations along the way. I'm going to see how far I can get before the megaships come in. I don't expect to get very far. I'm still something like 15,000 light years from Colonia, so I'll probably be using that bridge quite often.
Well, 30 megaships. What is that, about 22-ish thousand light years to Colonia? So it's about one every 1,000 light years, isn't it?
They've said they're going to try and place them every 400 to 500 light years, because there's also the stops that are already there.
Yeah, definitely the M6.
Yeah, so it definitely feels like you're already passing the service station, and having to work out whether or not you need to go to Loo now or in 400 light years. So yeah, psykit.
It's only step 1 of 3 as well, isn't it? On that on the CG information, it was like this is the first part of a 3-parter. So whether the other 2 are like linking other sections, or they're going to add even more onto the M6.
So basically, what you're saying is they're going to make HS2 of megaships all across the galaxy.
No. Because it will actually be this will actually be completed. Well, I'm not sure if HS2 will actually ever be completed.
Well, not to Manchester or Leeds, I don't think. Anyway, sorry, distraction. Well, on Monday they actually revealed the dredger's location. However, they did now say that the Orion University has now said that when they're going to send a megaship out there to claim the space dredger and repatriate the crew. Now, I hate to say this, but I don't see the crew wanting to be repatriated. You think this is going to be a conflict community goal later?
Yes. Do we actually know anything about the Orion University? Is it like the Open University or something?
Apparently, it is the premier university for. Let's have a quick look as I open the link quickly. Man looking up stuff on the internet. It's the largest independent educational institute in the core systems, rivaled only by the Imperial Science Academy and the Olympus Village University. So
That sounds like it should have been read by Peter Jones, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, and
I just want to know, is it being a shill for the Alliance of the Feds?
It's independent.
And do you believe that?
it doesn't actually say where the Orion University is. It sounds like this is more like the
Hopefully, it's one of
the Open
somewhere
University.
in the Orion system. I'd hope, but
Paul Archer has speculated it's a polytechnic.
Yes, all of a sudden Leeds Polytechnic became Leeds Metropolitan University.
Yeah, the same kind of thing happened up in Edinburgh, where you had a couple of universities, and then suddenly anything that was like a sixth-year college and above became a university.
Yeah, like Nottingham Trent.
Anyway, moving on from educational establishments. So we all think there's going to be a bit of a argy-bargy over the dredger then.
See, that would be really cool if there is again, I don't remotely think it's going to happen, but if there was a CG, it would be very cool to have the CG based inside the dredger. So you have like boarding parties to try and kill the existing crew, and then people could play the existing crew to try and repel the boarding parties. That would be a very cool thing.
They're not going to do shipboard combat or anything like that.
I know, but when I see that, I think, oh, that would be so cool to have that.
Shan, you are forgetting the critical thing here. There is no gameplay in shipboard things.
That being said, like all jokes aside, at the moment there would never be an on-foot CG because a fair proportion of commanders don't have access to on-foot stuff. So even if there was like anything that would be an on-foot thing in the far distant future, it's not going to happen right now because we don't have an equal footing on PC and console.
Yeah, that is a very good point. So just have to wait. I think we'll probably have to wait for the console versions to come online before we start getting on-foot CGs.
I guess you could make it like a conflict zone, couldn't you?
Well, it would be nice if you could actually fly between two megaships, a megaship versus a dredger blasting at each other. You get that serious Star Destroyer vibes.
No, man. Actually, you could maybe reuse the assets from the bases, and instead of having the CG, you would have it like a conflict zone, and it would be resolved in the same way as conflict zones on the ground are.
Could we do it and pretend it's like Star Wars Episode 8 and have the dredger slowly chasing another ship, but it's unable to catch up? But the other ship's unable to jump away.
I want to fly a completely pointless bomber over the ship.
Yeah.
Too soon,
So
Colin?
anyway,
I'm sorry. For some reason, I've got a blind spot for the number 8. I just go 7-9. I don't know why. Anyway, moving on from there, I think. I think it's the time of the week.
Store alert!
In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. A store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert, a store alert. Each one will you buy? A store alert, 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 a store alert. Each one will you buy?
And welcome back. Right, for those of you, we'd like to thank the Chris Mark IV who added the Mamba paint jobs to last week's show and didn't admit to it. I don't know whether or not he thought we were going to blame him for the horrible brown 70s Mamba or not, but he has added the Type 6 Overdrive paint job, which is also available in the Hawaiian shirt pink and green. Shan, what do you think to these?
Does anyone else think this is the least appropriate paint job there's been for quite a while? Because there's nothing exciting and sunny or even tropical about a Type 6.
I mean, I was thinking that. I mean, the Type 6, it's a decent enough ship, but yeah.
I mean, it might be wish fulfillment. It's like that thing on the back of not an adder, but my other ship's Imperial cruiser.
My other ship's an adder. What's that, Ben?
You could have that one too as well if you wanted.
Colin's got that on his ship.
Yeah, at the moment I have got an adder docked up at Lave Station in the racing stripes, but I don't think I'll be getting this one.
Can you actually think of any ship in which these paint schemes would be suitable on?
Chieftain?
They have them on quite a few now, don't they?
They do, actually.
Might go right on a Storylands or something.
Back to the Mamba again. Actually, no. That is ooh. Yeah, a Beluga maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some of the passenger liners.
Do we have it on a passenger liner?
I don't know, actually. We'll have to have a check of the site. Well, and currently there is 30% off fleet carrier customizations. So even though there's a 30% price duct in game, there's also 30% discount on the store. So there we are. Right, we will be back in a bit after the adverts to have our main discussion.
Want to tour the frontier? Travel with Colmac Reeve and our new fleet of passenger starliners. We've opened up the universe for a range of budgets. Option 1, luxury.
My husband and I like to travel in comfort. The new luxury cabins were like a home away from home. After all, one's home is a castle.
Option 2, first class.
We'd saved up a bit for a really special trip. The first class cabins were like nothing we've travelled in before. Really luxurious.
Option 3, travel cabin.
We won a trip with Cormac Reeves' monthly lotto. A travel cabin for two on a Starliner around the solar system. Once in a lifetime for us, simply amazing.
Option 4, basic accommodation.
Me and my mates just wanted to hitch around the universe. It's so great that we have the option of getting a really cheap cabin to see the sights. It saved us loads.
And for the budget conscious and slaves, we have our cheapest option yet.
Well, I needed it.
And we won't sell any of those frozen passengers into slavery, I promise. Colmac Reeves All Budget Tours, seeing the galaxy from luxury to freezing tubes.
This is a public service announcement from the Fuel Rats. Please stop what you're doing and pay attention. If we can rescue you, we will, but you can help us help you by following these easy steps. 1. Fly 50 light seconds or so from the system's main star and drop out of Supercruise. 2. Note down the current system and the nearest stellar body. 3. If you're on emergency life support, log out immediately. 4. Go to fuelrats.org and click Get Help. 5. Stay calm, hold your breath, and let our seasoned professionals do what they do best. The Fuel Rats. We have fuel, you don't. Any questions?
Are you struggling with paying fines? Do you lose sleep in hyperspace worrying about docking at the next space station? If the answer is yes, then you need to call Cowell & McGrath Fine Management Services.
I got scanned while in Federation space and was caught carrying slaves. It was an unexpected expense that I couldn't afford on top of my fines for damage caused whilst docking.
We can help you consolidate all your existing fines into a single large fine, payable in regular instalments at what is almost a competitive interest rate.
I called Cowell & McGrath Fine Management Services, and they helped me pay my existing fines before I got a bounty on my head. They really saved my life.
At Cowell and McGrath, we've helped thousands of pilots whose fines had spiralled out of control.
I dared not go near a police star system. Got so desperate that I'd almost resigned myself to a life of piracy. Luckily, I found Cowell and McGrath's services before I actually murdered anyone in cold blood.
No fines too big, no criminal record too damning. We're here to help you, no questions asked. Find us in the Lave business directory.
I'd got into debt as a result of a massive counter lawsuit by Watt and Prittney. It happened because I'd taken advice on Python protection insurance from... Wait a minute! It was you!
Cowell and McGrath. Minimum liability, zero accountability. Warning, balances may go up as well as down. Missed payments may lead to repossession of your ship, seizure of cargo, or the issuing of a death warrant.
And welcome back. Now, for our main discussion this week, there have been a lot of complaints about Elite Dangerous, and specifically Elite Dangerous Odyssey, being an MVP, or minimum viable product, with lots of unfinished bits all over the place. However, the question that we would like to ask ourselves, is what parts of Elite Dangerous actually feel complete to you? And I think we'll start with Commander Psykit. It's a big question, I know.
It's a huge question. How very dare you?
Deep end much?
No. Flying around in a spaceship is bloody beautiful.
Yes.
There's not much incomplete about flying around in a spaceship. I personally do not feel like there is a huge amount that is incomplete with regard to how settlements look as well on ground. Like when you're coming into one of these new settlements, when you can see the atmosphere and all of that, that felt complete and everything that I wanted it to be at that point. So I think they've done tenuous atmospheres incredibly well. And while I would like more guns, because obviously I would, I think a lot of the gunplay works like I would expect the gunplay to work, like the handheld guns in Elite. So
right, that's good. Okay, we'll move on to Ben. What do you think Elite Dangerous does? What feels complete to you?
I'd say the generation of systems until you get to planet level. I'm not sure I would agree with Sai about the settlements, because I keep seeing things in the settlements like, oh, I want to do that, and then I'm like, damn, it's just something I can't interact with. And that's probably just wishful thinking on my behalf, but I just, I see things and I want to play with them.
Yeah.
It's very hard to think of something that I couldn't think of, something what I would like to touch. I guess, Sai got the starter for 10. Flying around is the bomb. It always has been. I do really appreciate the missions and things like that. Yeah, even with the missions, and I love doing the missions, I would still like to improve them. I'd like more variety, I'd like more choices, I'd like more wrinkles, I'd like more story.
Right. Okay.
I'm trying. It's very hard to think of something I wouldn't want to touch.
Okay. Shan?
Yes, for the purpose of the discussion, it's important to make the differentiation between game mechanics and systems that are complete and those which could do with a tweak. And the ones I think we should be focusing on are the ones that we know they're not perfect, but they're pretty much there, rather than, for example, CQC, which we all can say. So I think actually, since we mentioned the Stellar Forge, I think they've got the navigation mechanics about right. The fact you can now plot 20,000 light years, you can plot to take into account neutron jumps. So the whole galactic navigation thing, I think, is pretty much there. I can think of tweaks, but as a thing needing a lot of work on its own, I don't. I think that's pretty much there.
I would certainly agree with it. I mean, for me, it's fighting a spaceship. If I've always wanted to recapture that X-wing versus TIE fighter vibe, and I must admit, taking on other ships in a good old dogfight, chef's kiss. I don't think I've come across. I mean, I have tried Star Citizen, but for me, sometimes it just seems to be right in Elite Dangerous, and I can't.
It was right in Elite Dangerous at 1.1.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they went off and introduced all the engineers and basically unbalanced everything.
But that's a different question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a different question. I'm
Yeah.
on about the actual process of getting involved in a fight, and if you're on a slightly engineered ship or you still end up with a fun combat experience.
Yeah. But I just feel they not broke it, but
They broke. We can agree that they broke PvP.
balance.
They broke balance in PvP.
Yeah.
But as far as PvE is concerned, I think that is still, regardless of the engineering stuff, is still a fantastic experience.
Yeah, and for PvE, definitely.
Yeah. Right. We'll go back to psykit. See if you got another one.
I agree with you about PvE, engineering or not. I really enjoy going out in a fully engineered ship and killing people. I think it's excellent. And you know what? I think Thargoid combat is really up there as something which has been great, and I feel like because it's at such a skill level, and it is difficult. It is difficult if you're 1v1ing, whatever. That I think is still excellent. Whether it is perfect, maybe we could make tweaks. Yeah, absolutely. But I think Thargoid combat is great.
Excellent. Shan, you wanted to make a point about the combat.
Yeah, I would agree with you to a point about PvE. I think once you have got yourself a fully engineered big three ship, PvE combat becomes trivial. So I think, but we have to think then ask a question: do we feel as though the engineering mechanic is still a placeholder, or do we think it's pretty much done with a bit of balancing about? My gut feel says there's more to be done for engineering in space rather than, well, obviously we know there's more to be done, but the actual spaceship, I believe there's more to be done to fill in the engineering part.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, if you have got to your level, Shan, where they've got a cutter with shields that strong, nothing can cut through it, it does kind of defeat the object, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean the answer to that, if we're going down a slight tangent, is you make the enemy ships engineered, or you give them loadouts that are basically
Yeah,
you give
then
NPC ships PvP loadouts.
then you end up in a situation where to even compete in PvE combat, you need to engineer yourself.
Yeah.
Well, since everyone has horizons, isn't that the aim now? Anyway, we're diverting.
Okay, then, Ben, can you think of something else that you think is feature complete?
Something else. I couldn't think of one thing.
Oh.
I'm. This is the thing. I'm really not wanting to be a negative Nancy. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that I would consider feature complete, but I mean, maybe it's partly being a developer or something like that that is like, I can, I know in work that I sign off on a daily basis, I know that I could work on the same feature for another week and still wouldn't be finished. It's just good enough. And don't tell my boss I just said that. I guess Alec and everybody like that would argue that driving around on an SUV is, and yeah, driving around, and there's so many things that are great.
Yeah. Well, you stick with the stuff that you find which is great. Because I'm normally finding this is stuff that we take for granted now.
Yeah.
And I mean, the driving around on planets and the way that this SRV handles under different gravity conditions, and even the terrain is
It's
fantastic.
awesome. And the stuff you can do with an SRV is awesome. But I mean, features I'm loving are things like the the combat stuff, the missions, the Apex. I'm loving the Apex Interstellar. And people are complaining about that, but I'm loving it. There's times when it's just so convenient.
What, just basically set yourself off on a taxi, go make yourself a cup of tea, and come back.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm loving if I want to just jump in and do some pew pew, doing either jumping into a war zone, always fun, or jumping in, and if I want to do the FPS stuff, that's also always fun.
I'll tell you. I'll move on and tell you one of the things that I have. I rediscovered it a couple of days ago, and that is getting involved in a capital ship battle.
Yeah, they're always fun.
Because it's been rare since I got involved with that. What with everything that's been happening with Odyssey, but just I was in a high conflict zone, and all of a sudden you hear that warning sound of a capital ship arriving, and of course it arrives. Even today, I get chills when that thing suddenly appears on your screen. And a Farragut battle cruiser is on the opposing side, and you have to do your best to try and drive it off. And you just get fantastic X-wing versus Star Destroyer vibes all the way through that.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing the whole shooting of the heat stuff to get them to run away and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather it went boom, but we can't.
Yeah, I know they're not. They're not. I don't think that they want.
We need some
thermal
exhaust ports.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings us round to Shan again.
Oh, well, initially I was going to ask Ben. So, do you think the taxi system? Do you think that's done? Do you think that's a feature complete? That's one we can take off as saying, yeah, that's good enough.
It gets you from A to B. It does what it says in the tin. Yeah, you can go off and moan that, oh my god, it's so boring. You're asking somebody to do half the gameplay for you. What do you expect?
And the capital ship, I will agree with you. Capital ships are fun to solo and make go away. Would you say they need anything more done to them?
To tell you the truth, I would love it if you know the very first trailer that there was. It's the Damocles trailer. I would love it if every now, just as a little wrinkle, how sometimes you get an alert or a mission alert on the top left-hand corner. I just would love it if you would get something saying that such and such capital ship is under attack. We would like you to defend us, and we're offering you money, and off you go to defend it. I think the actual gameplay involved is near enough spot on, but actually finding one of these capital ship battles is quite difficult. And I would love it as if you could, you get one of those alerts and bang, off you go.
Yeah, because one of the highlights of the launch event, wasn't it, was when they wheeled Crash out with his friends. and
then
they
on
did a capital ship attack, didn't they?
Yeah, it was the first time we'd seen the Farragut battle cruiser in game before, but we hadn't seen the Imperial equivalent, the Imperial Interdictor, and that was the first time we saw that, and it was. And I must admit, if you get stuck in between a battle between two capital ships, it's a really exhilarating experience, and I remember doing that in a wing with a couple of people, and it was great all round.
I'm gonna say for my one, the BGS. I think the BGS is excellent. I think that's feature complete. I wouldn't.
It's broken. It's broken at the moment. It ain't feature complete.
No,
But
It's broke, mate.
I'm differentiating between bugs, and I'm talking about features, not what they work
Now,
on.
there's so much more that could be done with the BGS to make it more
Yeah, but that's
immersive and
not.
more things.
So
I
you,
certainly wouldn't say it was feature complete.
so you think that it's just a framework, it's just a skeleton.
Yeah, I think you could add so many more features to it. You absolutely could. It needs building on.
Yeah, I mean the BGS as it is at the moment is well, if it wasn't for this anarchy bug, I must admit that they acknowledged this in the live stream. There is a problem with anarchy systems. We're beginning to run out of anarchy systems, which is a bit of a worry. And people predicted this not so long back. I think it was down to Earth Astronomy. If they stabilize the BGS as it is, as a base product, it's absolutely fantastic. But then again, psykit's also right because so much more could be added to it.
Yeah.
It's one of these things which is, yeah, you could consider it feature complete, but it has the potential to have so much more.
So do you classify the BGS then in the same category as, say, power play?
No, power play is, well, power play in my opinion is not feature complete because there's still so much wrong with it. And yeah, it does what it does what it does in a certain way, but in order to get the best out of it, you've got to play it in a certain way. Does that make sense?
You got to work the system rather than play the game.
Exactly. Yes, that's a. Actually, no. You've got to. You got to play the game, not work the system, in order to get the best out of it. If you try to work the system, then you end up with the most boring, horrible, repetitive system, repetitive gameplay there is, and that's one of its failings. But yeah, back to the BGS. I mean, psykit, what would you add to the BGS?
Honestly, it's more to do with the fact that it's more of like a whole balancing thing. For first and foremost, I don't think it's fully balanced at the moment. When you can, and I mean, yes, there is a botting problem as well, which is run side by side, and I don't know how you would go about fixing a botting problem. But when it becomes it's I don't know how I would fix it or what I would add, but it feels like it needs something that takes more effort than running ships to and forth between two systems just to gain influence. Something it should be weighted more heavily on more complex actions.
Oh, right. I see what you mean. So just try and mix it up a little bit more then.
Yeah. And as Clement says, a faction in a boom state with infrastructure failure should be offering more than 3 total missions in one session. It's just like little things like that where there is a lack of consistency with it that I have my problems to set with.
Understandable. Sham, back on the BGS?
When Si was speaking, I was thinking back to the Free Lave War, when the Lave system was under attack, and there's all sorts of stuff going on to try and defend it and take it and stuff like that. And I remember that was actually quite a memorable piece of using the BGS for something, whether you wanted Lave free or back under Alliance rule. So I think when I said the BGS, that's the sort of thing I had in mind when I said the BGS, because I know it involved an awful lot of people putting an awful lot of time in
Hmm.
to get a system, and also thinking back to Kai's initiative he did earlier on in the year. Sorry, the name slips my mind.
Dark
Where
Wheel.
he
It's the Dark Wheel Rises
the
or
Dark
Dark
Wheel
Wheel
Reels,
Turns or
yes,
something.
yes, that
Turning
sort
the
of
wheel.
game. Yeah, Turn the Wheel initiative. That's right, Ben. So that sort of BGS stuff, I think, is a very rich source of gameplay, and I think that's what I was driving at.
Oh, it has. It has certainly kept a lot of players in the game. It does. It has certainly replaced power play as what I consider as end game content. Because it's far more complex and nuanced.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into. I would have preferred to see power play basing its powers off of BGS mechanics, kind of things, because it's like you've
Oh,
got two competing systems almost.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wish they didn't have to, but this is, that's just turning into other things which I never quite understood why they've got that, because it's like, how can, to take Lave as an example,
Mm.
Lave is an independent system, yet it's still dominated by Edward Mahon.
Yes, but you got to remember, power play is a kind of secret war hiding behind the scenes. We might, as far as the Lave government is concerned, it's run by the Lave Radio network. However, behind the scenes, Edward Mahan's there pulling the strings, and that's some of the stuff that power play is supposed to represent. They are two independent systems.
Yeah.
Apart from specific bonuses you can get for some factions, the BGS and the power play
The toy
systems,
never mix.
yeah, they don't mix at all.
And that's I just always find that weird, how you can have an election and say, you can go off and turn a federal system is now in the alliance or
Yeah.
or whatever.
But in power
Yet
play, it's still
behind
under
the
the command of
scenes,
Hudson.
yeah, exactly. And I just always find that weird.
Yeah, and I know it's one of these anomalies which I don't think will ever get resolved. What with the lack of focus on power play, but I get. Mick Winston says that BGS and power play do mix. You can have horse trading with power play groups, apparently.
Yeah.
But I mean, as like I said, some certain groups get BGS advantages, but I think there's only two of them.
EIC doesn't. Well, EIC is not good for Portrayus.
Anyway, I mean, Ben, have you ever tried a base raid?
Oh God, yes.
What do you think to them? Driving around in the SRVs.
Overly complicated, but fun to do with mates.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the the things that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do with a mate if you're just wanting to faff about.
Yeah.
But if you're actually wanting to do a mission, then it's a pain in the butt.
I don't know. I think base raids are pretty fun.
Yeah, even I think. Base raids. It depends on the complexity of the base, because a small base I can do quite easily by myself. But however, if as soon as I start getting ones where I've got to disable bits before I can move on to the next bit, that's when you start needing a team, and I think that's by purpose.
Yeah, it is by purpose. I agree.
I mean, has anybody else tried the scenarios? With the installation, attacks, and defense.
Oh yeah.
I mean, do you prefer those?
When they spawn.
Yes. I suppose that's their downfall, isn't it?
Yeah, they could, again, it's one of those consistency things, isn't it? I think they're really clever when it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like it is another one of those things where we're like, yeah, I really love that, but I wish it would happen more often, like with the megaships fighting each other, or like the capital ships fighting each other, sorry. That is an absolutely wonderful thing to behold, and I love it. I think it's so cool to see. However, it doesn't happen anywhere near enough for you to be able to show it off. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm and this is kind of like, this is really from a selfish streaming perspective. If I'm like, oh, let's go and do this, there's a Federation faction there, or there's an Imperial faction that we're fighting, let's go drop in on a high, maybe a capital ship will spawn, and then I've done 4 high CZs and one still hasn't spawned, and I'm like, no, I promise you, it's really fun. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah, so I probably agree with you on this one. We need some kind of notification that these things are happening.
Yeah.
Again, I would like a little alert in the top left-hand corner saying, all of a sudden the Sidewinder bar is under attack. Do you want to? You've got 15 minutes for you to head there.
Like you have an allegiance to this faction.
Mhm.
This place here that this faction owns is being under attack. Just a little beep thing. You're in the vicinity. Go and help them out if you want. You don't have to, but then it gives you just that. It's that emergent gameplay. I genuinely made quote marks with my hands then.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that would be great. Shan.
I think actually, leaving aside the out-of-game tools and things like that, I think actually the trading system is pretty much done. I mean, yes, you can always say, well, we should be able to get prices from out of system and all sorts of stuff like that. That's kind of a feature, but actually, for the way it works, I think the trading system is pretty much there.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it does actually show you all the prices and where goods can be bought and sold, even just by going to the market these days. So you can actually, if you go to the selling part of the market, you've got all the commodities there, and you can then find out where those commodities are bought and sold.
Yeah, what I was thinking of, it was almost like the Inara or the EDDB functionality where you can look at, right, I need to buy 100 tons of robotics, and you put it in and it takes you to the nearest system or something like that. That would be a feature that would be welcome. But I also think it would take the skill away from using the trading system.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, to tell you the truth, there's not, apart from adding more goods, I can't really see what else they can do about the trading system, to be honest.
Well, if you wanted to use the skill of finding a trade route, I think we're pretty much there. I mean, you can use EDDB and look for commodities and trade route, so you can do out of game tools. But although I admit I use them sometimes, but they do take the skill away from using the trading system as it was designed, if you use them. So I think I'm a little bit reluctant to say add that feature to the game, because I want there to be some degree of finding your own secret profitable trade route and not doing it out of game.
Okay, psykit, have you got one more?
There's something to be said for talking about trade. There's something to be said for these extra things that these third-party apps that people have created. I think putting the extra bits in the game, having, for example, having a full EDDB commodities database in the game will absolutely take the fun out of it. You can use that, but I know people who only use the in-game in-game options and only use in-game tools that are available to them. So yeah, I get that. I was trying to think of anything else.
Well, as we were beginning to get a little bit head scratchy, I thought, what about the deep core mining?
Oh, that's so much fun. I'm so bad at it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, mining in itself, by itself, is pretty much okay. You point yourself at an asteroid stroke, an asteroid, grind away, and take the commodities. But as soon as they added deep core mining, that just added so much more to it. And then on top of that, it made piracy actually profitable for a lot of people, which I thought was great. I mean, Ben, what's your experience been with deep core mining? Has it been something that you feel?
Jesus, stop tearing my eyes out, please.
What?
Jesus, stop tearing my eyes out.
That's pretty much my experience as well.
Yeah, I'm flying around looking for something
Mm-hmm.
which I can do deep core stuff on, even back in the day when we had triple ice hotspot things.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, please be one. Please let me mine you. Yay! I can actually do a deep core mine on you.
Mm-hmm.
And your hydrogen. I don't chuffing well want deep core hydrogen. I'm looking for the ice diamonds. And could be that I just never have a lot of luck with mining. Could be I hate RNGesus and find it an annoying mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably quite true. I prefer, and because of that factor, I preferred actually, if I'm going fishing, I'll go fishing, and I just wind up using my beams.
And
if I found an abrasion-y thing that was worth it, or even a deep core thing that's worth it, sure, I'll do it, and it's fun. But going out exclusively deep core mining,
it's just finding the things to mine.
Yeah,
that
finding the things to mine
mm-hmm.
was so painful. Yeah, and honking it, and then okay, well, we're not looking for the orange things. We're not looking for the blue things. We're looking for things that look a bit like popcorn, and then we can go and do stuff. So what's the freaking point of making them orange or blue? If you're gonna do it and you're gonna make them highlighty things for the stuff what you can actually go off and do your mining on, make them stand out from each other.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm not all that happy with the way the interface is for basically the mineable asteroids.
Yeah.
They've got to make the ones that you can blow apart a lot more obvious. Psykit.
I've never come as close to rage quitting this video game as I have been when I have been trying to deep core mine on stream. And I have a bunch of chuffing backseaters going, oh no, it's going to be this rock. Oh no, it's going to be this rock. Yeah. You're looking for a rock with the LucasArts logo on it. Yeah, no. And it literally, and my sister messaged me afterwards, and she said, "I thought you were going to put your fist through your monitor." I was so angry. But when it does work, it's great. It's really fun, and I really like it. But oh my god, I hate it so much.
It's funny that we're finding that a lot of the stuff which we really love, we're having trouble finding.
There it is. There's another bloody thing. Let me show you these rocks that explode because they look really cool. Oh no! Wait, hang on. No, I promise you, it's really good.
If only we could use some dev magic to spawn one in.
Yeah, if only. Right, so I mean, Shan, you got
Well,
another one?
well, I haven't got another one. I was just going to summarise my thoughts, but if you
Shan,
want
give
to
us
go
some
ahead.
positivity, please, because we can't.
Well, I don't know. I think this has been
I
quite
am
positive because
That's the thing. I'm
there's been
trying to be.
there's a lot of things that we've talked about here, which, although um, some of them have been in the game right from the very beginning, they're still there and they're still enjoyable.
Yeah.
And a lot of the negativity over for Odyssey or the way Frontier have handled things and stuff has taken its toll, and it's nice to remember that underneath all that, there still is fun to be had.
Oh, I mean, if anyone was watching the stream, I just had 2 minutes. Well, probably like 5 minutes of fun actually, where a guy in an Imperial cutter and two of his wingmates basically tried to interdict me outside of Shanata Desra. And I was running away and I managed to get about 3k away.
Mhm.
And then somehow he managed to get a little bit closer on me. I don't know how he did that, but because I was perma boosting.
Yeah.
I guess he could perma boost just that little bit more or something. But he was catching up with me and then spraying me with oh, what's it called again? The shotgun thing.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really want to go off and do a highway because I wasn't on a vector for it. So I didn't want to change my vector because that would take me right next to him.
And it's also in a cutter, so it takes you a while to change vector anyway.
So I was just sort of stay on targets and go and do a low wake and immediately jump. But then his other mate who was hanging outside the Super Cruise got me as soon as I jumped out.
Right.
But by then I was on vector. I was on a vector for a high wake, and so I accepted it and then managed to high wake away, and that was amazing fun. And then I went off and blocked their asses because I don't like that kind of person, and that's also fun.
Yeah, but you still. I mean, this is the fun that I have in power play is being interdicted and escaping.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. That's the actual process of interdicting and then getting involved in a scrap. I think is great. Shan.
Yes, I've been listening to what people have said, and if you cast your mind back to the original question, which was, is Elite just a bunch of frameworks that have been stacked on top of each other, with most of them not being complete? I think certainly in the view of the crew of Lave Radio, I think it's pretty fair to say is that statement has been refuted, because we've spent the last 40 odd minutes going through areas in which, when we look at them in reflection, actually we're saying, yeah, they're pretty much done. Is there a load more to do? Absolutely, absolutely, can't dispute that. But I think there's more complete than we think there is.
Oh, I actually agree with that. Psykit?
Yeah, I agree as well. I think the thing for the most part, I think the thing that we are missing now is the section where all these composite parts that are completed and are working particularly well, link them all together. Can we make it more of a, rather than just a single gameplay loop, can we make them feel more like they're all tangible parts of the same universe, if that makes sense? I know they are all tangible parts of the same universe, but sometimes there is that disjoint there, and that's what I believe is the key that we're waiting for to make it feel even more complete, rather than a sum of individual parts.
Yeah, what you need is you want more integration. You want to feel more joined up.
Yeah, that whole sphere of combat and like individual gameplay loops and then extensions of those gameplay loops. Let's make everyone feel like they are the hero of their own personal story rather than a bystander.
Ben, have you got a final point?
I've actually just found out that the person who tried to interdict me is a listener, and I'm talking to them now on Twitch.
Oh, and that's the original Welsh wizard who was asking about power play earlier.
Yes.
You didn't kill him. Oh, honestly.
You
Try,
do know that
try
Shan
better next
offers.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the original Welsh wizard. You do know that Shan has a standing bounty against anybody that kills Ben.
That's probably what he's getting at.
Actually, I think it's Sovereign who had the bounty, and he left the show to avoid paying up.
Yeah, he did. He did do that, didn't he?
What was the bounty?
Shanta
just
had a
kill
bounty to kill me.
How much?
150 million, I think, Sovereign put up.
Okay, and the equivalent in what? Because I will mine that much if you need me to. It's not a problem.
Hang on, you're wanting me to be killed? Thanks.
I mean, why not? It's only a video game. It's not like it matters.
Actually, Ben, you could self-destruct. Then Psychic would have to give you
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. How would that count? Hold up, there's a bounty on my head. Let me just off myself and see how it works. Oh, money. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
There was a tragic flaw to this plan.
Tragic flaw. Wanted dead or alive for 10 grand. Well, there we go. Dead it is.
Yeah, that'll pay my medical bills.
Anyway, as Shan says, just to wrap up, when we actually go in, I know that we bitch and moan about all the stuff that's going on with the constant development with Elite Dangerous, but there is a core to this game that just drags us back every time, and that core is certainly it feels feature complete, and it is still fun. And I guess that's one of the reasons why we still do this. So, I think we shall move on to the community corner, shall we?
There is always fun to be had, isn't there, Colin?
Yes. Well, first up, the Anti-Xeno Initiative have done it again. They have gone and shown us how to kill Thargoids in a various amount of ships, but this is the first time I've ever managed to see them kill a Hydra in an unengineered ship. And then on top of that, they managed to kill a Medusa with an E-rated chieftain too.
Holy crap.
I know.
E-rated chieftain.
E-rated chieftain.
That's impressive.
Yeah, we'll put links to that in the show notes, so you'll be able to be made to feel inadequate just by.
Can they do it in an
watching.
E-rated ad? Can they do it in an E-rated adder?
Oh, someone has already done that. That's why I'm flying around in the adder in the first
No,
place. Remember?
no. That was an A-rated, an E-rated adder, unengineered.
I'm not doing another top shift in a bloody adder. If someone does it in an E-rated adder, I'm afraid that's it. I'm done. Ah, dear. On top of that, after our multi-crew discussion last week, Ascorbus from the broadcast decided to see how multi-crew would do. So he organised as many multi-crew ships as they could find. Now, we've given you his Twitch channel link here in the show notes, so you can see how he did. It's certainly an interesting experience. But, it was nice to see them try it. And finally, this is technically not an Elite Dangerous thing, but for those of you who are unaware, there has been a project run for the last, I think, 15 years to bring the previous game, Frontier's First Encounters, up to modern standards. This is done, it's FF ED3DAG.
Catchy title.
Catchy title, yes. Now, for those of you that don't know about this, it's basically First Encounters has been updated for modern machines, so it will work on any PC after 2008. It uses updated 3D models and uses DX9. It's based on the JJFE mod, which uses lateral thrusters, which really do improve the combat that actually makes the game playable for me. And it's done by Andy J. And there has just been its first update in 6 months to bring it up to version 1.17 beta 4. Has anybody else actually messed about with this this version of Frontier First Encounters?
I haven't, but I will.
Right. Well, like I said, the links are in the show notes. The graphics are a vast improvement over what was already there for the original First Encounters, as you can imagine. But yes, we will leave that there with a link in the show notes. And well done to Andy J, who single-handedly has been keeping this going for the last 15 years.
That's a real labour of love, that, isn't it?
It is. It's a phenomenal piece of work. I mean, you've also got to say hi to John Jordan, who put all the work in to update the Newtonian flight model, because really is some impressive work there.
Do the NPCs in that game still have the silly hats?
Oh yeah, you still have all the silly hats and things like that. But then again, yeah. So yeah, that's done by Commander Andy Jones. You can find him on the forums as well. So right, moving on from there. Shan, you have a mostly clueless spot for today, haven't you?
I do, and it's even helpful. Do you want me to read it out, or?
Well, it's your hint.
Well, the docking slot of a space station is usually facing the planet, so you can make it easier to get into a docking position by aligning the holographic image of the target station so the slot is facing forwards, i.e. towards you. That way, when you emerge, you'll end up facing the slot and not have to nip around the space station trying to find it.
Excellent. A nice little a nice little hint there. Now, psykit.
Hello.
Hello. Have you had any alternative fiction sent your way?
I haven't. However, I would like to just issue a very quick statement, if I may.
Oh, can't wait for this one. Off you go.
I would very much like to apologise to the listeners of Lave Radio for the disappointment in finding out that Elite Dangerous is in fact a video game. This may be akin to finding out that Santa might just be a guy in a suit, or that the Tooth Fairy does not leave cash under your pillow. I am so sorry for this and fully expect to have chocolate on my pillow tonight. However,
for the record, Lave Radio would like to officially state that Santa may or may not be your parents.
Oh, 100%. I'm just saying it might be akin to finding that out. Well, people may find that out. What can I say?
Psykit is now classified as a bad girl.
Oh, shit, son!
He's on the naughty list.
You, sir, are about 15 years too late.
There was some smut back there. They're just there. So you could have said, what a bad girl you are, and got people all excited. But
no, I'm good, thank you.
It seems that the chat room have now gone into shock. And I can't work out whether or not they've just realised it's a video game, or whether or not Santa's not real.
Where did this whole "it's just a video game" thing come from? By the way,
I literally just said it like 20 seconds ago.
I'm just wondering why you said it.
And it has Psykit.
Because of money.
Who's hurt you?
Everyone's hurt me. I'm very tired.
So hold on, Sight. So, since you've just gone and declared this, it is just a video game. Then there's no such thing as Lave Station. So really, the show is now 3 forum dads and a girl.
For a month.
God, no, there's a horrible sitcom name, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, shall we? Now that Psykit has managed to vent and unleash.
But no, seriously, send me smut.
And there's another clip.
Yes. So Psykit needs your smut. Only you can help.
Psykit needs your smut because she's a bad girl. Is that what
Wow.
She's what?
Van Otto, which blue pill are you suggesting people take, especially if we're referring to Psykit smut?
Jesus Christ.
We'll miss Ben next week, won't we?
No, we won't.
But we can always reload. Anyway, let's talk about a dad joke. Oh, man.
Lenny's technically Ed's fluid.
Right.
I don't even know where to go from that.
Any other businesses where we're going?
That's a good place to go, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, great. On the subject of the Blue Origin has sent Captain Kirk into space.
That was a great segue, Colin, wasn't it? We went from Smut to Blue Origin.
Blue Origin. Yes, they've sent Captain Kirk up in the penis rocket.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Was that really just this week?
Pardon?
Was that really just the past couple of days? God.
Yeah, it was. It just feels like ages ago, even though it only happened.
I was talking with my wife earlier, and every day is just blurring into the other at the moment. I'm getting so lost.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Shanna, are you going to talk about the fact that how moved Mr. Shatner was at the end?
Well, I was going to mention that on this week's Spitting Image, where they have the William Shatner puppet starting to wax lyrical, and he gets about 2 sentences in, and then someone taps him on the shoulder and goes, "We've landed, Mr. Shatner." So, but I'm actually a little bit sad, and this is purely Shannism, so please excuse it, but I'm a little bit sad he survived.
What?
Oh my God.
No, because you think about it. Now he's gonna now Captain Kirk dying in space is a far more suitable way for the actor to go rather than just dying in his bed like he's going through now. So if I was gonna go, I'd want to do it in space.
I see where you're coming from.
That's the Bill Hicks approach to stunt work, where you're saying using old people as stunt doubles, so that they're going to die anyway. They're at the end of their life. No.
Well, that's why I think they let him up there, because they wanted to see how old people survived.
No,
he is now the oldest man who'd ever been in space, isn't he?
No,
Yeah,
the reason that he went into space is because Jeff Bezos got so much publicity for being the man who finally put Captain Kirk in space. There's no way any other marketing person can come up with something better.
Yeah, but he could have been the guy who killed Captain Kirk as well, and he just blew it.
I mean, both of those things would have generated like hella Bezos money, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, I get the feeling that, as Colin says, the only reason why he's put up there is so that Blue Origin got some publicity. Because let's face it, if Captain Kirk hadn't been on the rocket, the media wouldn't have given a monkeys. The press, we wouldn't have given the monkeys. It's just like, the only reason I watched was Kirk, and frankly William Shatner. He was so genuinely moved and touched that made it a delight to see.
I thought he sounded stoned. I thought, why has he been smoking? He's been on the weed.
Well, I think after heading up and coming back, and you're 90-year-old and you've been through those G-forces, I think you'll sound a little bit weird as well, to be honest. But
Yeah, but
maybe
he
they
should
did
have
give him
died up there. Captain Kirk has to die in space.
Yeah, but that's William Shatner.
Yeah, I like X-Pin X's comment about during the 4 minutes of Zero G, everybody else apart from William Shatner managed to get pregnant, including the men.
Yeah, exactly. He's a fictional character. What's the name of Kirk's equivalent in Futurama?
I would say probably
Zap
Leela.
Brannigan.
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think
Yeah, because
on the ship.
Yeah, because Zach Brannigan is basically what they reckon Captain Kirk would be
Yeah.
if he was William Shatner.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the guy looked genuinely moved by all that,
Oh,
so that was
I don't think there was any looked about it. I think, he was not acting there.
no.
Did anyone else watch the clip and wish the people spraying champagne would just shut up and let him
God,
speak?
yes.
Oh yes, I mean, I think that was an unfortunate bit of timing. I think.
Mm.
I think it would have been quite poignant for Mr. Shatner to get his words out.
Also, he should have had a yellow spacesuit rather
And
than a blue
everybody
one.
else red.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a Facebook post going around with exactly that on, which I thought. I think the caption was, "Well, the other crew members are worried."
Yeah. And actually, serious thing about when they're pinning the wings onto the guys, why can't they just have magnetic pins? They have so much problems getting them through the spacesuit. Give them just magnetic pins are the answer there.
Well, they can't use them again, can they? The spacesuits, surely.
Well, no.
Or
but
do you
still,
get given?
control on it.
Or do you get given the spacesuit as like a souvenir?
I would imagine it's not reusable, but even though, they're always struggling and they bend the pin. They bent William Shatner's pin trying to pin it onto his lapel.
Oh.
Just so use a frickin' You must be able to get magnetic badges, surely.
He said
Did
they should have.
Right, before this goes off
Yes.
really off topic, did anybody have any other business?
Oh, I was going to make a comment, Colin. I was my final comment on this was: do you think they should have given William Shatner the Chewbacca treatment and not given him a medal?
I do get the
Well, he
feeling.
nearly did.
I feel that Elon Musk must be phoning up Patrick Stewart right now.
I think Elon Musk doesn't give a shit.
Richard Branson might, wouldn't he?
Richard
Anyway,
Branson might definitely.
moving on from real life space exploration and not a video game space exploration. Happy, psykit? Good.
I stopped listening. Sorry, what?
Just like my children. Just like my children. Anyway, we've had a little bit of feedback from YouTube, of all things. When we were referring to the age rating of Elite Dangerous, a lot of us were there thinking, well, it's really a game for grown-ups. We don't know anybody about at the age of 7. Well, Grippy Gecko says that his 7-year-old niece plays Elite Dangerous on her dad's account. So it does prove that there are young commanders out there.
Oh yeah, I mean my son plays as well, but usually with me.
And this might please JN Tracks, who does this. Alexander Corbin would like to say that the Store Alert song should be in a top 10 hit. I can't argue with that.
Well, I think there needs to be a dubstep version of it.
We need a dubstep version. It's basically a dubstep version of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Is that possible? Right. Okay, so I think it's time for the shout-outs. First of all, we're going to shout out that, guys, the Dockers are doing a charity Christmas special. If you want to be involved in that kind of filth, there is plenty of tiers that you can apply for, and you can go to justgiving.com/team/beyonddockers to find out. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Truckers, all one word, or if you just want the audio, you go to radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. And we're also giving shout outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts which have appeared. So that's Alagrab AM, the Black Sky Legion, who do space sims and real life science. The Canon podcast for Spanish speakers is the Elite Cast. Fatherhood podcast, Flight Assist. Who's on this week's Flight Assist?
Brother Sabathius. And the next week is our 50th episode. I say next week, the next episode that comes out will be our 50th episode.
Excellent. We've also got the guard frequency. Hellos to the loose screws. Stay cheesy. New worlds, which are Zero Prep, which with Ed, Kai, and Suverine. We have also Squeaking Fuel and System Chat. I mean, for those that want a literary discussion about sci-fi and fantasy books, then there's the Data Slate podcast with Commander Stroud. And following this, we do have the latest Galnet News Digest as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. So thanks to everyone who's chipped in at the Twitch chat. And have you had any in-game commanders apart from that Welsh fella?
So I've had that Welsh fella and his mates, and I've had Crumber saying hi to me.
Yes. So that's the original Welsh wizard. So hi. Why did you miss him?
No, he nearly didn't miss me.
And we'll also say special thanks to Commander Tokuso, who created the music for the introduction of the show. But that is it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, then you can email info@Lave Radio, hit us up at facebook.com/Lave Radio, tweet us at Lave Radio, or you can join our Discord server by going to discord.io/Lave Radio. We have a TeamSpeak server where commanders come to hang out and chat, and you can find that at teamspeak.laveradio.com. Now, do get in touch if you have any questions, or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Shan, wasn't there a question that you wanted to ask? What is the worst combination of ship and skin?
Yes, I was going to suggest people post screenshots of the least tasteful ship and associated skin and or kit. So basically, what is the most chavvy, crash through Halfords, max power abomination of a Voxel Nova people can come up with in the game?
There we go. So yes, if you would like to contribute to that, obviously drop us a line at info@laveradio.com. Everybody turn up in your ugliest t-shirt competition. So Lave Radio, as you've heard, has been recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. Well, thanks to Ben, thanks to psykit, and thanks to Shan. And special thanks goes to today's tech specialist, the Chris Mark IV. Until next time, commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word.
Space can be lonely.
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Remember, this is the show where good ideas come to die.
Galnet News Digest, 19th of October 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, Nova confident of stabilising stricken station.
Don't emote, urges Pilot Federation.
The anti-pre-penultimate farewell comeback tour. Nova Imperium is said to be confident that the evacuation of Dyson City in Parisa, which was targeted by an NMLA bomb last week, will be complete before the end of the week. According to ACT, the bombing was carried out by a breakaway part of the so-called Theta group of terrorists, while the mastermind bomber known as Theta 7 remains in hiding. The terrorists have said they intend to completely eliminate the Imperial Duval bloodline, although in this case they failed to strike their target, the family of Hadrian Duval. Once the evacuation phase is complete, Nova Imperium will start repairing Dyson City, for which they will require large amounts of construction components.
In other news, the Federation has arrested around 1,200 alleged terrorists, using the Proactive Detection Bureau to arrest people before they have committed any crimes. The Federation has, however, failed to detain Yuri Grom, and Grom has instead made off with one of the Federation's megaships.
Following the success of the Colonia Bridge Initiative Phase 1, fleet carriers remain on discount until Thursday in the Alcor and Colonia systems. The 35 new megaships are expected to be deployed on the 28th of October, but it's not yet clear what Phases 2 and 3 of the initiative will involve.
Orion University has thanked commanders who helped locate its missing Scrivener's clan dredger and says it plans to evict the current operators within the next few days.
In an unexpected move, undercover detective Francesca Wolf of the Wallglass Detective Agency has been hired by Lexi October of the secretive Joker's Deck Gambling Club to find a stolen ceremonial playing card that was apparently purloined by the so-called Winking Cat. She will no doubt be appealing for information.
And Zamina Torval has completed the corporate separation of her part of Mistopoulos Mining, which will henceforth be known as Torval Mining, and is headquartered in LTT 198. Gabriella Mostopoulos now has majority share of the original corporation.
Engineers working for the Pilots Federation have urged commanders not to attempt any non-verbal communication after a number of hospitalizations. The only ways that commanders can currently express themselves are head movements and a strange curtsying manoeuvre that can also be used as part of a sort of impromptu Cossack dance or for experimental breakdancing. This can and has led to injuries to those less used to bending over backwards. The Pilots Federation had hoped to start rolling out a new set of useful hand signals this week, but have had to delay the deployment after a number of test subjects sustained injuries while attempting to salute too vigorously. In addition to the salute, commanders will be permitted to agree and disagree, signal stop and go, as well as pointing, waving and applauding. The stop and go signals could come in extremely handy for marshals at SRV racing events. Conveniently for those who have trouble interpreting hand signals, the excellent Supratech wraparound heads-up holographic display incorporated into our suits will interpret the gestures for us, along the lines of Commander Beetlejude pointed at the mission target, and Commander Wotherspoon applauded Commander Beetlejude's ability to point out something that's completely and utterly obvious. The 4 new engineers that were due to open for business in Colonia have delayed their opening in protest at the lack of safe emotes, and commanders will need to wait just a little longer to find out whether there really is a 20-metre tall solid gold statue of Dr. Arkanen in the social area of the megaship the Gnosis.
Scribbling senator and chronicler of the life and times of Lady Kahina Salome Loren, Commander Drew Wagar, has announced that he is about to retire again, but only after he completes his farewell tour of all 400 billion stars in the galaxy. The publicity-crazed senator plans to live-stream his entire tour to his many fans and followers from around the galaxy and to reminisce about how much better things We're back in the day when everything was in wireframe and you had to load the program for your ship's navigation and trading systems from a portable cassette player. Galactic leaders gathered round to celebrate his departure and to wish him a safe journey on his tour and a happy and potentially final retirement.
And that's this week's Galnet News.
Galnet News. We read the news so you don't have to.